right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Today, I'll be presenting Tetris in a PDF. So it's going to be sort of a fun look at what PDFs are capable of. So what could have possibly sparked any interest in PDFs, you might be asking? And the answer to that is this tweet by Thomas, where he said, "Here's a working game of Tetris made inside a PDF." So naturally, I thought to myself, how on earth can you play a game of Tetris on a digital piece of paper? And then I continued to think about it some more. I grew up in the age of YouTube clickbaits. I know when a Twitter dude is trying to farm some engagement. I've been trained in the arts of clickbait. However, I'm no better than all the other people that reacted to that tweet. So I clicked on the bait. And this is what I found. Dude named Thomas on Twitter was not lying. Actually, he had a fully working version of Tetris that ran in the PDF. So how is this even possible? Because I know that BBDers have really niche interests. If you already know, just act interested and surprised anyways. So PDFs enable a few basic things. One, they enable reliable document sharing across different formats and devices. PDFs are device and resolution independent, so that allows for some really high quality text and graphics. And that's what also allows the PDF to look exactly the same on your phone as it does on your computer. And they are optimized for performance. So what is actually in a PDF? A PDF file at its core is a binary file with four main components. So the first one are objects. Objects are just the building blocks of a PDF file. These are the basic data types and structures such as numbers, strings, arrays, dictionary, all the cool data types that we know and love. This also includes stream objects, which handle large data like images and text. And the second thing is file structure. So file structure manages how objects are stored, accessed, and updated. The third thing is document structure, which defines how objects represent document components like pages, fonts, annotations, etc., etc. So it defines the logical organization of the document itself. And then the last thing is content streams, which I'm not really going to look into for this presentation, but these are just instructions that describe how a page looks from the text to the graphics and the layout. So I've already touched on file structure. I'm going to skip over objects because we know basic data types. So again, the file structure manages how objects are stored, accessed, and updated. A PDF file consists of four main parts. The first is the header, then the body, a cross-reference table, and a trailer. So the header is just a one-line declaration of the PDF version. So it'll be something like PDF.1.7 or whatever. The body contains all the objects, all of the data that make up the document. So this also includes the fonts, the pages, the images, etc., etc. A cross-reference table, which is just an index of all of these objects. And the trailer, which points to the cross-reference table and other special objects like the document root. Cool. Okay, this slide was not supposed to look like that, but the document structure is the next thing. And this is the structure, the logical organization of the documents. So a PDF document can be regarded as a hierarchy of objects contained in the body section of a PDF file. What you have at the root of this hierarchy is the document catalog, which is a dictionary that contains references to other objects, defining the object's contents, outline, articles, name, destinations, other attributes. So what I have here on the board is a very simplified version of what that hierarchy might look like. But in here, we see two really crucial things that probably allowed the Thomas dude from Twitter to create a game in a PDF. And I've highlighted them, and it's mainly the interactive form elements and JavaScript. So yeah, JavaScript is where the interactive logic of the game can live. PDF JavaScript can respond to user inputs, control form behavior, and manipulate visual elements dynamically. And then in terms of the interactive form elements, these can be like the buttons, the input fields, the form fields, all that other stuff. And these two things together are perfect for creating interactive games in anything. So with this very, very limited knowledge of PDFs, we have enough information to create our own game in a PDF. So as you all know, ATC has this very, very strong opinion of not needing to install libraries unless absolutely necessary. And I think ATC has really started to get to me because when I was trying to come up with this demo, I tried creating my own PDF generation library by following the actual ISO spec for PDF. And then a couple of things dawned upon me. One, the spec is like over 1,000 pages. And although it's not that long, I'm not reading through 1,000 pages. Two, I'll then need to build a game engine on top of the PDF generation library. And then three, I have outstanding PRs that I owe ATC. But then four dawned on me, which is that we have a 2-week cursor trial. And yeah, I was going to use that, of course. And with a cursor trial comes number 5, I can just vibe code the whole thing. So that's what I will be showing now. Quick little demo. Just share my screen. So this is what I, and by I mean cursor, was able to accomplish. So how it went about it is it first created some PDF template strings, which if you were to inspect a PDF file, what you'll see is this is sort of what you'll see if you open it up in VS Code or something similar. And it's got the header, it's got the body, which has all the objects, it's got a cross-reference table at the end, and a trailer at the end. So the next thing that it did, it added templates for square object, a button object, text object, stream object. But where all the magic happens is in this browser game class. And standard things, it's got its constructor, which sets the width and the height of the page that you're going to be building on. It's got functions to add fields, add a square, add a button, add text input, add state variables, which was really cool, add functions, and then like an initializing function. And it's also got tick functionality for things that we need on a continuous loop. So with this class, what I was able to do, if I scroll down here, was to create a simple game. We first start off by calling the constructor. We're adding in 2 squares here, one for the player and one for the target. We're adding a text. This should be text field, but it's a text input, and that shows the score. Next thing is we're adding in some buttons to allow for inputs and moving the block around. And what you'll see at the end of this is a function call. So this is the on-click function that happens. And then we've also got a reset button, and we're setting up some state for the player position, the target position, the current score, and the speed. And then down here, we're adding all the functions that are going to be in our PDF file, such as the movement ones, moving left, right, up and down, updating the player position, checking for collisions of the player and the target, updating the score, resetting the game, and then we save that into a PDF file. And what you get is, I'll accidentally switch on my camera. This right here. Very, very cool UI, if you ask me. But yeah, the red square that you see there is the player, the green is the target, and you've got all the buttons we were talking about. And I can click on the direction buttons to move around and hit the target. Yeah. And it goes behind the UI elements because, yeah. So I'm going to quickly go back to the presentation. If I can find it. I'm going to copy. Okay, cool. Oh, my meme didn't get onto the screen nicely. But so with all this power under the hood, such as interactive forms, embedded files, and yes, JavaScript, we hit a major red flag, and that is that PDFs can execute code. And let's be honest, anything that can run can be exploited. And what makes this particularly dangerous is that many users, and by many users, I'm talking about myself, still treat PDFs like just a digital piece of paper, that it's safe, passive, and harmless, which is not the case. So a perfect example of why this could be dangerous is that the PDF.js library, which is the library that Firefox uses for their PDF viewer, had a vulnerability just last year. And what this allowed was for people to execute any arbitrary JavaScript in the PDF, including network calls through fetch requests. No clicks were needed, no permissions, just open up the document and they could run any JavaScript. So obviously this is the security issue. And it was as simple as, okay, it might not be so clear, but if you see there, sort of in the middle, there's a fetch call there. It was a vulnerability that took advantage of the font object. And what they would do is escape outside of the definition of that object, and you could write any JavaScript code. So in this example, this person is downloading some piece of JavaScript from GitHub. But yeah, again, the meme didn't show up nicely. But luckily, a lot of PDF readers, such as PDFium, which is the one that Google Chrome and Edge uses, and even PDF.js, which had the vulnerability, they heavily restrict the JavaScript that can be run in the documents. And a lot of these PDF readers intentionally don't implement the full PDF spec to avoid having to deal with all these sorts of issues. But yeah, so sort of in conclusion, wrapping things up, we saw that PDFs are way more powerful than just static documents. They actually have some programmability. We looked at understanding the internal structure of writing JavaScript that can move objects, such as paddles and bounce balls, which is another PDF that was generated. And yeah, PDFs can surprise us. But with that power, of course, comes with some responsibility, because the same features that let me, Cursor, build a Pong game, or the features that allow for input validation can also be exploited by attackers. And why might this matter to you? Well, for developers and BAs, like just knowing how PDFs work, especially if they're used extensively in your business process, it can open up doors for like really cool automations and custom workflows that you can do. And just knowing about the inner workings of it helps you create smarter, safer, and more accessible documents. And then for security folks and just general people out there, like PDFs are an underestimated attack vector, and recognizing their quirks can help you be safer, especially for all your younger siblings who are at uni who are getting free textbooks from some website. Awareness means better detection and smarter mitigation. Yeah, and then also, unless you really have time and interest, I don't suggest trying to make your own PDF library, because yeah, it's a waste of time. But yeah, thank you very much.